Diabetes is a state which precedes diabetes, and what happens is most of the people are unaware that they have prediabetes because it's very silent in nature, and it's only incidentally while they're screening for other conditions or they're undergoing some annual screening for their companies that they get to know that their blood sugars are running high. So if we look at the definitions, anyone with a fasting blood sugar, which is between 100 and 126, or if you go by the glucose tolerance, where we give 75 grams glucose load and then we look at the 2-hour blood sugar, if that is between 140 and 199, or the 3-month average blood sugar, that is the HbA1c, if that is between 5.7 and 6.4, so then the person is considered pre-diabetic. If you have one of the family members, your immediate family members, like your mother, father, brother, sister, or any of your first degree relatives who are suffering from diabetes, or you are overweight or obese and you have a high waist-hip ratio, you have a sedentary lifestyle. So these are the kind of things that predispose a person. And so you should be having at least an annual screen with the HbA1c if you're aware that you might have a high risk factor for developing diabetes. So again, largely they're asymptomatic. It's only if you, say for example, start having to get up at the middle of the night and go and use the toilet, use the loo. So that's one of the indications. You might have tingling and numbness in your hands and feet. That might be one of the things that develops unusual weight loss when you're not actually trying to lose weight. This is absolutely vital, and this is where we wanted to concentrate. So you want to sort of detect early, and unless you test, you would never know what condition you have. So whether you are normoglycemic or you have pre-diabetes or diabetes, it's only when you test it once in a while that you get to know. So as we were saying, if you have one of the relatives who is suffering from diabetes, or you happen to carry the high risk factors for developing diabetes, like you're overweight or you have a sedentary lifestyle, then you have to ensure that you undergo this HbA1c test at least once a year after you're 30 years. And also, as we said, we can also find out whether you're pre-diabetic with your fasting blood sugar, as well as the oral glucose tolerance test. So these are the kind of tests that are recommended at least once a year. And that's where Defeat Diabetes campaign comes in, because we are urging people to get their blood sugars tested so that they're aware of their situation. Diabetes in general, so it is a treatable condition and it can be put into remission. Similarly, so pre-diabetes, if we take all the necessary precautions, like we do the right diet, so you have a nutritious, balanced diet, you start, if you have a sedentary lifestyle, you start doing the cardio exercises at least 30 minutes a day, and you stop smoking, you take alcohol in moderation if you're a drinker. And so if you're doing all these things right, then you indefinitely delay the progression to diabetes. And many times what we see is that this pre-diabetic state actually regresses, and you put pre-diabetes into remission. That means the blood sugar levels come down definitely, as long as you continue with your all the things that you're doing right now. So it's your diet, your exercise, everything. If you're doing it right, then this pre-diabetes is put into remission indefinitely. It's better to know than not to know in the first place. And if your blood sugar remains high for a prolonged period of time, that takes a toll on the other organs of the body. So for example, the kidney gets affected, the back of the eyes or the retina get affected, the heart gets affected, the nerves get affected. So all these complications develop because diabetes is in general a pro-inflammatory state. So because of this inflammation that is ongoing, that takes a toll on all the organs of the body. So it's mandatory that you do your annual screening if you're aware that you might be developing diabetes. from the defeat diabetes perspective, test, track, and treat is the key word that we are saying it out loud. And if you are detected of diabetes, and if you take all the right precautions and get your diabetes treated well, that prevents complications like your heart problems. So we are moving from secondary prevention to primary prevention. So before your heart problems arise, we want to prevent that from happening. And one of the ways is to treat your diabetes well if you have diabetes, or if you have pre-diabetes, we want to ensure that is put into remission. And at the same time, if you have other conditions like hypertension, which is usually accompanying diabetes, or you have lipid problems, then you need to take your cholesterol medications. You need to put your blood pressure under good control, taking medications and taking the right kind of diet, and also put your diabetes under good control. And that would ensure that your heart stays well as well. I think we are innovating every single day, and we are trying to adapt to the new system. And COVID has taught us a lot. So we were not getting to see our patients as often as we should because of a number of factors. And one of them was fear of the patients to actually walk into our clinics. And this is where digital diabetes control actually comes into play, where we are urging the patients to take charge of their own health, to monitor the blood sugar levels themselves, to track their own blood pressure, etc. So we are empowering the patients to do more. And in that scenario, whenever they are given the charge of their own health, we see that the numbers are improving because they become more responsible, and they are monitoring their blood sugars more often than they would usually do, because they'll be dependent on the doctor to do that. And we are also getting to see the numbers digitally, and we see that there is a progress in their health. So I think this has got immense potential. We are harnessing into it, and I think AI-driven programs like this has got a lot of future as well. The idea is to raise awareness about learning about your status, where you stand, and that's probably what Defeat Diabetes campaign is about to do. To urge them to understand where they stand at an early stage, so that they don't develop diabetes in the first place, or if they have diabetes, they don't develop complications which arise out. So join us on this mission at Defeat Diabetes, and the link will be in this description.